Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. It's just that easy.
It's just that easy.
I don't sound like you when I say bada bing, bada boom.
It still sounds good though.
Yeah, okay.
G'day viewers and listeners, Ed Fox with the Bada Bing Bada Boom podcast, and I'd like to introduce my lovely co-host, Lisa Smith from Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm actually sitting in my office in Bowling Green, Kentucky right now as we record this. G'day, Lisa.
Hey, Edward, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am living each day trying to make a difference. How about you?
Yep, I'm trying to do that too. Okay, so we're going to call this episode 1, the Steel Magnolia, the Lisa Smith origin story, right? Because you got to start off with an origin story. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got, and how that brought you to the barter industry.
Well, that evolution was a little different. I am a retired registered nurse, so I was an RN for about 25 years. Second career into business, and most recently I purchased land in the heart of Madison, Alabama. It's a co-working center. That's what I joined Tradebank with originally in the beginning, and eventually evolved that into working for a little while as a broker, and then purchasing the region from the regional owner that had it. And here we are today. Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, that is the Cliff Notes version. Okay, so I want to know a little bit about your co-working space. Tell us what made you decide, how does somebody just decide to go from being a retired nurse to, I'm going to buy a building?
Well, I love business, and I've always had a side hustle. I've always had a business side to me. I grew up with my parents who own their own business. So it wasn't as difficult to transition as you might think. About 5-6 years ago, I noted that the city that I lived in, Madison, Alabama, had no true co-working space. Did a good bit of research from your city, Nashville, to all the way out to Denver, Colorado, looking at co-working spaces and what that involved, and found this fantastic building less than a mile from an interstate exchange. Beautiful area, and decided, yep, this is it. I'm going for it.
Wow. That's
Never
awesome.
turned back.
I love those stories. So, and you've refinished the building, you've got tenants in there. What's it called? And do you have any space left for rent?
The office is at Spinrin. I do have one space currently. It's the only one I have. But yeah, it's fun being I don't even think of myself as a landlord, but I guess I am.
Right. And
yeah,
so
we're a very tight-knit community.
What's the square footage of the building?
10,000 square feet.
Okay, cool. And then tell us, okay, so you've got your building, you've got it renovated, you're starting to use it as a co-working space. How do you hear about Tradebank?
I have an amazing business coach, and he had encouraged me to do some networking outside of my comfort zone. So I'm looking, I'm doing the scroll thing on Facebook one night, and I came across an event where a bunch of businesses were getting together, and I knew, I think, 1 or 2 people there, which was very unusual. I know a lot of people in the area, having worked for BNI. Signed myself and a couple of my friends up for it. We went for a ladies networking night out, and I met the Tradebank people at that time. Ended up that week joining for the offices at Spinrin and worked for them. They had space with me. I worked for them for a short period of time, and then corporate approached me to take over the region.
Okay, so tell me, as a potential client, when you looked at Tradebank, what was it that attracted you to become a client? First off, let's deal with that.
Oh, that one's easy. It was, once I really looked at it, it was a way of offsetting some costs that I was already incurring in the business. My pest control, my cleaning services, any catering, which pre-COVID we did a lot of catering. So it was just almost a no-brainer. Carpet cleaning, HVAC maintenance, plumbing, electrical. All of those things are things now that I barter for the building and keep that cash in my account. It's kind of grown over the last year and a half from that first thing or two that I started doing to all the things that I do now.
Right. And do you find that as a client, you used a lot of it on business, but did you use anything on personal?
You know that I do. The restaurants, the licensed massage therapist, the person who cuts my hair, right down to Metro nails for my mani and pedi each month. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I miss in Wichita. I had somebody that did. I'm diabetic, and so we had the mani pedi. I thought that mani pedi meant for men. Mani
It
pedi.
does. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
exactly. Thank you. I appreciate you doing
It
that.
does.
Like
You were
when I
correct.
told my wife, she just rolled her eyes. Anyway. So that's great that you've done all that. So then, okay, so you're a client, and then how long were you a client before you became? Because I think I understand that you started to broker for the regional owner that owned
Hmm.
Tradebank in your area at the time.
The regional owner at the time that I became a member was one of my virtual clients, and I did about 3 months later start doing some part-time brokering for them. I went over to Trade Bank's corporate headquarters and was graciously welcomed for a 3-day stay, and they taught me more than I even dreamed possible. Honestly, that's what hooked me, was really getting that understanding how that was the moment for me when I really understood how many people I could truly help with this. How I could take a plumber or an electrician or the nail lady or anybody that I've got in my group now and teach them how to offset some of their cost of business into barter and give them this whole network of 200 other business owners to know. I mean, this has been amazing for some of our group during COVID.
Right. So as we're recording this, this is, what is it, February 13th, 2021. We just
Hmm.
went through a really tough year, and we're hoping that 2020 is way better. Um,
Oh, it's going to
Obviously,
be better.
yeah, it's going to be better. And
Already better. It's already better.
okay, so you're a broker and you do that for a few months. And then I believe you said corporate contacted you about taking over the region.
Yes, I was invited to make that consideration. The Trade Bank CEO, Valerie Hale, is amazing to work with. She's been both a coach and a mentor to me since my, assumption of duties here. Truly do not believe I would have accomplished the things that I did last year without the team. It definitely was not a one lady show. I have an amazing broker. I have a fantastic business coach. And like, we've talked about, there right down to the massage therapist and the lady who does my mani pedi with self-care is a big important thing. I think it should be for everybody. I think it's a team approach for us here. And Tamara, my broker, is hands down, she's amazing at what she does every day. Makes my job 10 times easier.
Yes, it's amazing what a good broker can do for your region, and I'm super lucky to have two excellent brokers in both the Wichita and the Nashville market, and we're adding to that as well.
Oh,
So,
you have the gold standard. You have Robin.
well, yeah, it's a little frustrating for Madeline and Ashlyn, I think, when Robbins like keeps hitting them out of the park, and they're like, ah, So, so I
Oh,
appreciate
see, I'm
that,
just
but
the opposite. When I have somebody like I think I've told you this. When I brought on Tamara, there were a couple of brokers. Robin was one of my first choices. I always want them to talk to Jessica, of course, at corporate office. And then, I want them to talk to people like Robin who are so fantastic at that customer service aspect of it. And then there's others like Connie and Charlotte and Jessica who put the deals together like nobody else can. So there's great things about each one of our brokers, and the younger ones like Madeline. Look at the energy level. Oh my gosh, it's just it's good for them to all know each other and resource each other's gifts and talents.
right, that's what I'm trying to teach them right now, that they all have different skill sets and they
Hmm.
can learn from each other. Some things one of them is better at. Like my daughter is a junior broker with the Wichita office, and she's killing it on social media. So,
That's huge.
yeah, exactly. So we all have different skill sets, and we've just got to learn to work together.
Yep,
That's
totally agree.
that's the harder part. So okay, so let's take a minute here and talk a little bit about, as a new franchisee, you just gone over your first year, is it?
Just barely.
Okay, so you're in.
January kind of, yeah, I can say my first year's under my belt, barely.
Okay. So your first year of your ownership, what a year. What a year to choose, 2020. Good for you.
I know, right? Was that some good going?
So I want to brag on Lisa for a second so you can go, oh gosh, and oh shucks, and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, y'all.
Lisa at our national conference walked off with the President's Award and the Rookie of the Year award. We've never seen somebody win President's Award and the Rookie of the Year award in the same year. And then she aced it with the Top Gun Award with the most sales. So like most sales, President's Award for excellence in running a Tradebank franchise, and the Rookie Award for the best newbie to come in and put us all to shame. So Lisa, thank you for showing us the way. I really appreciate the energy that you brought to the Tradebank business last year. But what I would like to know is, if somebody was out there maybe listening or watching this podcast on YouTube or listening to it on their favorite podcasting app, what would you say about owning a Tradebank franchise if somebody was toying with the idea of maybe looking to add a franchise business like Tradebank or a barter business like Tradebank to their resume?
I would tell them, if they don't listen and believe everything that we say on this and future podcasts, that they should call one of us, and we'll be glad to walk them through any questions that they have. It's one of the best things I've done. It complements my business. It complements my personality, my lifestyle. I love, love, love to build things. And one of the things, honestly, it was my favorite part when I was an area director for BNI. I love the connectivity that I brought over 13 chapters. I was the one person that got to connect all of those hundreds of business professionals, and Tradebank allows me to do that exponentially. I can connect with my growing on 200 businesses here, but I can also recommend them to your region for certain things, or to Susan's region for certain things, or even to, Chattanooga and Jergens region, to Jay and Laura over in Memphis if they want to go there. So, I mean, it like takes everything that's great about connecting in business and growing each other's business, and it takes shop local to shop local here, or shop local in Nashville, or shop local in Memphis, or shop local in Chattanooga. It just brings it all full circle for me.
Great. And so tell me a little bit about when you became a regional owner, and you've owned it now for a year, and you've had a stellar year in difficult
circumstances. Edward.
in difficult circumstances. I don't think anybody would begrudge the fact to say that 2020 was a year of difficulty for a lot of us in business. And most of us, most of the people I deal with are multitasking in businesses, just like yourself. You have several businesses, and looking to add more. I know, because we just had that discussion.
I know, right?
And the same for me, is I've got multiple businesses as well. And the word for 2020 was pivot, right? Pivot. And so
that was not my word for 2020, but okay, go ahead.
Well, but no, you heard everybody else using it. It's sort of like, to me, it's like paradigm shift from the early 90s or mid 90s. And now it's pivot. But so when somebody's looking at barter as a business owner and thinking about, well, would it make sense for me to do barter, and would Tradebank be the platform that I should do it? How would you talk to them about that? And what do you see as the advantages or the things that maybe they're not thinking about, and that they should get involved with us at Tradebank and use barter for their business to offset those expenses?
Well, besides, when I talk to a new business owner about Tradebank, besides offsetting some of their costs of business, I always bring up that you are bartering in what you have and taking out what you want. It's so much better than that one-off, I call them one-off trades, where, I might need this and you might need that, but finding that perfect match is near impossible. This takes it, to infinity and beyond. It's however many people you can add in your group and still manage them with really good brokers. I do think that the personal broker approach that Tradebank teaches and has us utilize is invaluable. I can't imagine, it working as well as it does without the personal broker approach.
And so what's the first step for a business owner that's heard this, or maybe it's one of our members that wants to refer one of their friends to Tradebank? What's the first step that they should take?
Well, I know you probably are the same as me. In my region, every single one of my members has my personal cell phone number. I tell them all the time, I'm up at 6, I go to bed about 9, anywhere in between those two. You can text me, call me, email me, let me know if you know of a business. And I have a fantastic group. They're constantly calling me and offering assistance through way of referrals. Randy, Stan, they're always constantly giving me, hey, I know somebody that you need to meet. I want to introduce you to. So those are invaluable. I mean, I treasure each time my phone rings or my text message goes off, and that's the introduction, or that's the, encouragement that they give me. That really, it adds fuel to the fire of wanting to build this region and make it everything that they want it to be.
Right. Yeah. It's very exciting when you can help some of the clients get some things that they didn't think were accessible on trade, and then you just pull it out of thin air. It seems like you and I know how much work goes into finding some of those clients.
Funny story for you. Funny story. I had this one member, a fantastic member. You and I both know her, Killian, the social media guru, social media expert. She used to teasingly tell me, I can get everything I want in my trade bank except food. You don't have food. And I'm like, well, the restaurants not count? And she said, well, I'm talking groceries. So last month we signed up a CSA. We signed up an organic farm who will be delivering to Tradebank. It's already delivering to the Tradebank office weekly organic eggs. Any of our members can buy them on trade, 100% trade, which is phenomenal. But they have all kinds of things and then, with the gardening season starting soon, when it warms up, they'll have the CSA food boxes that we are allowed to get on trade. So no more of that can't get food business.
I don't know what a CSA is.
It's a package from a farm, a local farm. You get it usually every other week. You pay a monthly fee and they deliver it to you. And it's homegrown vegetables, fresh cut homegrown flowers, herbs. Sometimes it can be, they make an organic hot sauce and an organic barbecue sauce. It can be those organic eggs. Anything that they grow that is on that organic farm can come in your box.
Do you know what CSA stands for?
I did. If you hadn't asked me that, I would have told you. Good question, though.
Okay. Well, we'll do some research and let you know on.
Yeah, I do know that, but asking me, yeah.
Okay. She's Googling. I
think I am. Community supported agriculture. CSA is their product. That's what they call it.
Community supported agriculture.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So yeah. Like you just never know what you're going to find on trade.
That's true. If you need something, that's a great reason for me to reach out to a business owner and say, hey, I've had one of my members that has asked for a certain thing. So that's why my sales team and I actually go after certain things. Pressure washing was one of them. Somebody to be able to do those type of things for our members. And if a business owner knows you already have business for them, they're far more likely to go, hey, that sounds great. I've got some openings in my schedule that, would you rather have an opening in your schedule or a couple of great, fantastic trade clients that you can turn around and use those dollars for business cards or food or dental services, whatever you need. It's an easy turnaround for them.
Yeah, that's great advice. Lisa, any last thoughts that you'd like to add?
Thanks for asking me to be on the podcast. Thanks for asking me to do this with you. It's fun.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a blast. And hopefully, not only do we teach our members and prospective barter clients about barter so they can have a better understanding and they can understand who we are as people, but I think we're learning stuff as well from each other. You're such a great resource in the barter industry with Tradebank of Huntsville. That I really appreciate your time, and I'm excited to do a ton of these episodes.
And you are looking far more dapper than me. I'm in here on a Saturday in my Dollywood sweatshirt.
Well, we won't talk about below the fold,
So we do need to tell everybody that the next episode, I get to interview you. We need to talk about Ed from the land down under.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hey, Lisa, thanks for being on. And then if you are a Tradebank member and would like to be on our podcast, be sure to reach out to us.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. It's just that easy.
It's just that easy.
I don't sound like you when I say bada bing, bada boom.
It still sounds good, though.
Yeah, okay.